Lucifer had summoned a magical sword larger than the god himself and split the deity in two. He had conquered the divine realm, defeating every god one by one until he sat on the ultimate throne, the absolute, invincible supreme legend. But then Mu had arrived. Mu had crushed him just as easily as he had crushed everyone else, shattering Lucifer's image of invincibility in front of the entire universe. Burning with rage, Lucifer made a solemn vow. He would have his revenge on that son of a human, Mu. Back in the present, Mu was riding comfortably on his dragon Leem, heading toward his domain. He had no idea that something was secretly watching him from the clouds, a demon, likely sent by Lucifer, tracking his every move. It was waiting for the perfect moment to strike, just as Lucifer was counting every second until he could avenge his humiliation. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the school bully who had just regained consciousness was also waiting. He didn't just want a rematch, he wanted to see Lee Ho dead. Lying in his hospital bed, he picked up his phone, realizing he needed someone much stronger to teach Lee a lesson. He scrolled through his contacts until he found the name he was looking for. Cheol, a middleweight boxing champion in the youth division. Across the city, Cheol was pouring all his strength into a punching bag. His intense training session was interrupted by a loud, annoying ringtone. Frustrated, Cheol stopped mid-punch, sweat dripping from his body, and looked around to see whose phone was making that noise. A blond boy casually walked in. It was the other Cheol, a boxer with 2 years of experience. He answered the call. It was the beaten-up bully, his voice trembling with desperation. He didn't even introduce himself. He just promised Cheol a brand new phone if he would do one small job for him. Cheol was surprised at first, but the deal sounded too easy to pass up. He agreed. The next day at school, the bully walked into class as if nothing had happened. The room went dead silent. Everyone was staring. Soon the whispers started. Students were mocking him, joking that he had been neutered by the school's weakest kid. He tried to ignore it, but when the jokes got too loud, he snapped. He slammed his bag on the floor and screamed that he could still take anyone on. The class president, a girl with glasses, stood up and told him to either shut up or leave. The bully couldn't believe a girl was talking to him like that. In a fit of rage, he grabbed a chair and was about to hurl it at her when the door swung open. A massive teacher stepped in. The bully immediately dropped the chair and sat down like a saint. The teacher asked the class president why she was standing, but she kept quiet, saying it was nothing. However, as the teacher left, he told the girl to meet him after class. It turned out the teacher wanted a favor. Since she was the class president and trustworthy, he asked her to check on Lee Ho, who had been absent and wasn't answering his phone. In exchange, the teacher promised a recommendation letter for her senior year.